The new Triumph Speed 400 and Scrambler 400X are two bikes that I wanted to be exceptional. Like many, I've lusted over Triumph's classically styled bikes for ages. The Thruxton in particular has had its way with my heart. But at the end of the day, the heart doesn't get what the wallet can't afford. That's why it's so important to me that Triumph get their new pair of 398cc bikes right. And after spending about an hour with both, the good news is that I'm confident in saying that they've absolutely hit the nail on the head.
Okay. Oh, the butt. This is happy.
While many bikes that look as retro good as the new Speed 400 and Scrambler 400X sacrifice performance, Triumph seems to have towed the line beautifully. Although both have the same T400 engine that makes about 40 horsepower and 37 Newton meters of torque, I definitely prefer the Speed 400. It has a similar get up and go when you twist the throttle, but it feels far more nimble in the corners and around traffic.
It's so nimble, dude.
I even think that it has a more comfortable riding position for the street, but that could be because I prefer a more committed rider triangle. Don't get me wrong though, the Scrambler 400X is by no means bad in either of these metrics, but I could clearly feel that they had a different purpose in mind when setting this bike up.
Holy shit.
The foot pegs, for example, have what look like removable rubber inserts for when you want to go off-roading, and the taller handlebar is in a great position when you want to ride standing up.
What do you think compared to the Speed?
This one more comfortable.
Apa dia?
More comfortable.
Really? Why
Upright. More upright. Commanding position. Just like a touring bike.
The Scrambler is noticeably taller than the Speed, however.
I'm barely flat-footing it. Yeah. I mean, I can lah, but it will be uncomfortable.
For me, who is about 179 centimeters tall with what I would call a 50-50 length distribution between my legs and torso, I can't really flat-foot it. If you have slightly longer legs like Hanif here, then that might not be an issue for you. What really sold me on the Speed 400 versus the Scrambler 400 were the brakes. Although they both sport similar bi-brake calipers up front, the Scrambler has a slightly larger 320mm single disc over the 300mm single disc on the Speed. And yet, the Scrambler's front brake felt noticeably worse. On the Speed, the lever pull felt sharp and responsive, while the Scrambler's didn't. Maybe it was because the larger 19-inch front wheel had more rotational mass, but I don't think I'm qualified to say that with any certainty. What I will say with certainty though is that I really enjoyed riding both of these bikes. I think the only 400cc retro style bikes in this category that could compete are Husqvarna's Vitpilen and Svartpilen 401. But both of those are about 3,000 ringgit more expensive, or more if you want actual nice wheels. Oh, but just because the Triumphs are cheaper, don't think that they've skimmed on build either. These are impeccably finished bikes for the price. The switchgear feels almost like it was lifted straight from a Bonnie. The paint on the metal tank sparkles under the sunlight, and all the little finishes like the polished air cooling fins on this liquid-cooled single-cylinder engine, the LED lights and indicators, and that beautiful tail lamp really go a long way in making this bike feel premium. They're even including a USB port on these bikes. For free! On a Triumph! I only really have two minor criticisms at this point. The first is that I would rather the hybrid dash be an analog tach with digital speedo instead of an analog speedo with digital tach. While the second is that I feel like the chain is on the wrong side of the bike. But apparently, that's a Bonneville special.
It's a Bonneville special.
But those are just two tiny gripes that I probably only notice because of how excellent this bike looks and rides. I think Triumph has done a great job with the styling of the Speed and Scrambler. I mean, they've even hidden the enormous cat to the point where you wouldn't even notice it unless you were looking for it. The thing that's important to remember here is that Triumph could have just slapped their logo on a meh bike with barely enough power and called it a day. People would have probably still bought it just for the prestige of owning a classic Triumph motorcycle. But they didn't. The fact that they chose to do this instead with their entry-level classic bikes and then also have them be so reasonably priced feels like an anomaly. A glitch in the matrix, and that's something I think we should all take advantage of before they come to their senses.
Untuk harga 30,000 balai lah untuk power yang dia bagi. Kualiti pun bagus.
Would you go for like a modern bike?
Modern bike
Like a Duke?
tak yang this one lah, klasik. Sebab dah ada motor yang modern. Second bike boleh lah.
Wah, this one is...
Mana lah letak box? I need box.
Mana letak box?